YouTube family, what's up? This is Chris from We Dullah here. This is the second installment of the We Dullah Love Story. So if you watched the first episode, thank you very much. If you didn't watch the first episode yet, I'm gonna link it down below for you. All right, so let's see, where did we leave off? So the first episode, obviously, just to recap, I met Shannon, instantly was smitten. So I had, after tons of packages ordered and things of that nature, I finally manned up and asked her out, and it worked out. I got her number. We set a date. So I'm going to detail to you guys everything that happened in that first date and a little bit beyond. So still stick with me, watch the video, and let me know what you guys think. So let's continue this ride. Roll the video. All right, so this is it. This is what all this buildup was set up for. You know, it's July 18th. This is the day of the first date. I had spent, I don't know how much on packages just to set up the opportunity to ask her out. So now this is it. This is game time. All right, and I'm super nervous because it was just so much prep done to create that perfect storm, that perfect opportunity to ask for a number, ask her out. You know, I had been, thinking about this girl for, I don't know, weeks at this point, just trying to set it up. And now is the actual time when the actual date is here. Now, I'm actually going to be sitting across from her and, trying to get to know this girl. And up to this point, we really hadn't had much conversations. It was, that brief conversation when we first met, the brief conversation when I asked her for a number. And when I actually spoke to her on the phone to set up the date, it was very brief, straight to the point. I talked to her, a little small talk, and then it was, all right, let's set up this date. Okay, I'll see you then. Because I didn't want to burn too much conversation topics, over the phone or when it didn't matter. I wanted to be sitting across from her in person and talking to her. So I didn't want to burn too many conversation starter pieces just for no reason. So we barely talked leading up to the first date. So now I'm like, oh man, am I going to know what to talk to her about? Am I going to be able to, entertain her enough to make a second date happen? Are we going to click? Is this all for nothing? Is she a weirdo? Is she going to think I'm a weirdo? I don't know. Typical first date thoughts. So it's July 18th, 2015. And, I asked her, I said, hey, do you want me to pick you up or, do you want to meet there? What's your preference? And she said she wanted me to pick her up. I mean, we lived in the same apartment complex and it made no sense for us both to drive there. Now, if you know Shannon, you also know that she does not like to drive at all anyway. So, the fact that I offered to pick her up was perfect for her because she didn't like to drive. So I could pick her up, no problem. But she also didn't know who I was. So when she wanted me to pick her up, she pretty much just kind of told me in a roundabout area to park. And I told her what kind of car I had, and she said she'll just meet me at the car. But just like the lead up to the first date was playing out just as much. I called ahead to the restaurant. I had a reservation. The restaurant that we had went to was Lucky 32. So I called ahead, got that set up the reservations. As soon as me and Shannon set the time, I set up the reservation for like 30 minutes past that or something like that. Because I didn't want us to be showing up at a place and they're like, oh, it's going to be an hour-long wait. It's like, that's a shitty way to start off a first date. So, I set up the reservations. I knew exactly where we were going, the whole nine. So I kind of had that stuff planned out and ready to go. So time comes and I go to pick her up, and like true Shannon form, she was not ready at the exact time, but you know, she wasn't as bad as she normally is, and how I learned that she's going to be. It was only like 5-10 minutes late, so it wasn't that bad. But she definitely was not ready when I first got there. But I pulled up, I parked, and I'm sitting there waiting, and finally she came and I knocked on the window. So she hopped in the car, and I'm telling you, from the minute that she got into the car, I felt like, I don't know, I just felt instantly comfortable with her. You know, like the conversation started from the second she hopped in the car, and it was just effortless. It just flowed, and again, it felt like I already knew her. Maybe it's just the way her personality is, because she's super outgoing and just connects with people so easily that maybe that's what it was. But for me, I feel like it was just the way that we connected together, our vibe together just really was effortless, and just again made me feel super comfortable just with her, period. And comfortable to be myself while talking to her. You know, so we get to the restaurant, and you know, I walk in to give him my name, and we get sat down, and the waitress comes over, and you know, most of the time they come over that first time and they say, hey, you know, can I start you off with something to drink? Most people say water or water with lemon, you know, whatever the case may be. For the first time ever, I've never heard anybody ask for this, but for the first time ever, Shannon was like, can I get a water with lime? Lime's on the side. So I was like, lime? What? You know, why lime? That's different. I've never heard anybody ask for that. She said, yeah, you know, lime is good for this, it's good for that, it's, you know, stomach health, you know, a bunch of healthy science stuff that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. But she was kind of explaining it, so I was like, oh, okay. So I said, you know, let me try it. Let me try it too. I never tasted lime in my water before, so let me see what all this fuss was about. And so I ordered the same thing, and from that point on, for the rest of my life, from that first date to now, when I go to a restaurant, I order water with lime. And you know, the first time we were doing it, you know, our friends would be like, water with lime, what? But I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of our thing. I'm sure other people do it. I'm sure we're not the only two people in the whole world that order water with lime. But that was kind of one of the first unique things that Shannon did in front of me that kind of showed me that she's just not the average girl, and I'm not on a date with the average girl. She's different. She thinks, you know, kind of marches to the beat of her own drum and does her own thing and doesn't care what everybody else is doing. She likes what she likes, and she's gonna do what she wants to do. So, you know, I thought that was unique and interesting. So, you know, the conversation's going, and she asked us if, you know, we wanted anything to drink, like an alcoholic beverage. So Shannon got the drink menu, and so I'm looking at the drink menu. I'm looking at these prices. I'm like,
wow, okay.
And you know, because most people know me, they know that I am very financially conscious. That's the way I like to say it. They say I'm cheap. I don't know. I like to say financially conscious. The only person I've ever met in my life that's more financially conscious than me is probably Shannon. And I learned that on that first date, because she was just as conscious about how much money, or not just conscious, but just she was thinking about how much money I was going to be spending on the first date with her. She wasn't just like, oh, you know, it's a free meal, order what I want, do this, do that. She's like, these drinks are expensive. I'm just going to order one, but I'm not going to go crazy and order a bunch. Plus, you know, I don't know. I guess she just really was just like, I'm not going to waste this guy's money, you know, just because it's his money. So I really like that, actually. That attracted me even more, that she was like that. So she ordered like some fruity drink. I ordered like a rum and coke, and I didn't want to order too much drinks myself, honestly, because not just because of the prices, but because I wanted to be present and just there for the conversation, which was going smooth to that point. It was going so smooth that the waitress had to come back like 3 or 4 times to ask us what we wanted to eat. We just did not look at the menu. We just kept talking and talking and talking. And finally, you know, we was like, all right, I'm sorry, we're gonna look at the menu right now. So we looked at what we wanted, and we each ordered our meals and got that process started. But again, the conversation from the time she got in the car, you know, all the way till we was in the restaurant, it was just effortless. You know, it was no awkward silences. It wasn't any of those. So, what's your favorite color? You know, it wasn't anything like that. It was just, we just moved from one topic to the next, one thing to the next. We talked about any and everything, and it just was so smooth. And I mean, I'm telling you, the connection between the two of us was instant. It was just instant, and it worked, you know? So, you know, we're talking, and finally, you know, we look up, and everybody's gone. And we realize it is just us in the restaurant. They're starting to close up and clean up tables all around us. And like all of a sudden we realized, you know, we closed the restaurant down. We were there from the time we got in, which was, I don't know, maybe 8:30, I think it was. And we were there all the way up until they closed, which was probably either 10 or 11. I'm going to say 11 just because it was a Saturday. So it was probably like 11. But I mean, we was like, oh my goodness, the time just flew by. And we didn't realize, because we were just so engulfed in our conversation and what was going on. We were in our own little bubble at our booth. It was just nobody else around. It was just us. And you know, so, you know, I paid, we left out, and I remember thinking like damn, you know, this was going, you know, really well. You know, I wasn't ready to end it just then, but I couldn't think of what I wanted to do. I wanted to continue on what we were doing, which was, I just was getting to know all about her, and I wanted to continue that. So I wasn't ready to end it right then and there, but I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know where else to go. So, you know, we're walking out of the restaurant, and, you know, Shannon was like, you want to go grab a drink? You want to, you know, kind of continue this on somewhere else? So I said, yeah, sure. You know, that's music to my ears. That's, you know, let's grab a drink somewhere. So, you know, she was like, I asked her, you know, where would she like to go? Is there any place she had in mind? And she said, no, just, you know, any place you could think of. So the only place I could think of, I wanted to continue to talk to her and get to know her and continue to share who I am to her. So I wanted a place where we can talk. It wasn't going to be loud. So I didn't want to go to a nightclub. Bars are just bars, you know, so I didn't want to go there. So there was a restaurant that kind of is like a restaurant / bar type spot that's called Hams in High Point. So I knew that spot was going to be open till about 2 a.m. Because I've been there a few times hanging out, shooting pool and stuff like that. So I decided, let's just go there. Little did I know, it was live band night. I hate live bands in like little restaurants and stuff because it's so loud. It's almost worse than a nightclub. You cannot hear anything the other person is saying because the drums, the guitar, everything is so loud. It's such a small, compact spot. So, but luckily, you know, it was only maybe about 30 minutes that they were there from the time that we got there. You know, they were only there for maybe another 30 minutes. So it wasn't that bad. Well, we found a little booth and we sat down, and again, it was just effortless. It was just so smooth, and that connection was just, it was real, and we were vibing so good. And I've never felt, you know, that type of instant connection with somebody ever in my life, especially on a first date. You know, I never felt that feeling before. You know, I just felt so comfortable, and I felt like she was comfortable, and I felt like we were just rolling. And the conversations were getting so deep to the point where, you know, I never like to talk about certain things on a first date. You know, it's just certain things that just may be too touchy to talk about, or could throw out those red flags too early. You know, I don't know, but you know, ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, past relationships, you know, all that stuff that could be a little touchy. I never like to talk about that stuff, but we talked about it, and I honestly, I don't regret talking about it. It was great knowing those things, those different I don't know, baggage that, for lack of a better term, that baggage that she brought to the table, baggage that I brought, that shared pain that we each had. We both had people that cheated on us in the past, you know. So learning that about her, and being able to tell her, you know, tell her that about me, you know, it really, like, I don't know, felt like it accelerated our process of getting to know each other. You know, we just really just talked about any and everything. And, you know, before we knew it, again, another place was closing around us. So we looked up and it's 2 a.m. This spot is closing down. They're kicking everybody out. So, you know, we walk out and we're like, all right, well, I guess this is it. We got to go back home. So she actually does tell me which apartment building she's in. She doesn't tell me which number, like which apartment door or whatever she's in. But she does me the apartment building, the building number. So I park in front of her building, and we're sitting in the car. We're just talking, and we start playing music. You know, some of our favorite songs, and we actually like the same type of music, the same era. You know, that '90s music, old school music. We love that R&B music. So we just start playing song after song after song, and we're talking, laughing, joking, and we get out the car. You know, we're kind of acting like we're about to say goodbye, but then we continue on our conversation again, and we just keep going and going and going. And we look up, all of a sudden the sun's coming out, and I'm like, oh shoot! We sat here and talked all night long. Like, it's 6 a.m. The sun's peeking out, and I just had no idea that the time was flying by like that. So, you know, I'm thinking in my mind, like, all right, you know, we really gotta cut this and end this. And I'm tired at this point anyway. So, you know, I'm fully confident that a second date is coming, but, you know, I wanna lean in and get that first kiss. But she lets me know before I even attempt, say, listen, I don't kiss on the first date. I'm not that type of girl. You know, I don't even kiss on the second date. So I was like, all right, well, you know, how long does it take for you to kind of get comfortable or feel comfortable enough to kiss somebody that you're dating? And she said, it's going to take at least 5 dates before I even think about wanting to kiss you. So I was like, damn! 5 dates? I'm thinking in my head, like, this bitch is crazy. 5 dates? But on the outside, I'm like, oh, 5 dates? There's no problem. There's no problem. No problem. I can do that.
So, that ain't no problem. Huh? That ain't no problem. Well,
yeah, 5 dates. I can do that. So, you know, the wheels are turning. The wheels are turning. So we say goodbye, give her a hug, you know, and, you know, she walks up to her apartment. I go home and go to sleep. I wake up and I'm right back at it. I give her a call and ask her if she wants to meet for lunch. And you know, I immediately set up that second date. And throughout the course of that week, you know, 7-day period from the day of our first date, I set up all 5 dates, and we went on all 5 dates in that week. We pretty much seen each other almost every single solitary day for a week. You know, after we first started dating, and it was never a situation where I felt like we were getting tired of each other, where, you know, she was getting tired of hearing from me, seeing me, talking to me. I never felt like I was tired. I was getting tired of her or getting bored of her or anything like that. It just, every time I seen her, I wanted to see her again. You know, every time that we hung out, I wanted to hang out again, you know. So it just, I don't know, it just felt right, and we were just, I don't know, we just gelled so well. And so, you know, that 5th date came, and I made sure I let her know, like, hey, it's 5th date. It's day 5. You said 5 dates, you know. So this is it. This is where we at. So, you know, that 5th date came, and I remember we were standing in front of her apartment building, and, you know, I remembered everything that the great Hitch told me.
You see what I'm doing?
Robbing me?
No. See, this is what most guys do. They rush in to take the kiss. But you're not most guys. See, the secret to a kiss is to go 90% of the way and then hold.
For how long?
As long as it takes for her to come the other 10.
Okay, 90-10. Got it.
And I went in for the kill, and we got that first kiss. And the only thing that I can remember from that first kiss is just, it was worth it. You know, it was worth it. It was worth waiting for. You know, that whole week of just getting to know her. You know, everything that we had been talking about, just building our connection from the bottom up. And I mean, really catching strong feelings for her, you know, that I feel like it really made the kiss way more intense and way better. You know, so we had that first kiss, and that was it. That was the 5th date, and, you know, that was kind of really the start of our relationship right there. So that's it. That kind of explains in detail how our first date went, all the way until our first kiss. I felt like they kind of all went hand in hand, especially because it all happened within 1 week. So I wanted to get it all out in this video. So thank you guys. I know it was a long video, but thank you for sticking with me throughout the whole thing and listening to this whole crazy long story that I had. Stay tuned for episode 3, chapter 3. I'm going to try to get these videos out once a week. So stay tuned for that. If you like this video, please comment below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, like, and share, and hit that bell notification so that when I post the next video, you see it pop up. All right, so thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.